You know that picture we all have in our minds, that comfortable retirement? Maybe for you, it's traveling, maybe it's just spending more time with family, or honestly, just not worrying about money. But the big question is, how do we get from that beautiful picture to reality? Well, that's exactly what we're going to break down today. And this quote, wow, it's a powerful and maybe even a little uncomfortable truth. It draws a crystal clear line in the sand. On one side, you have a fuzzy wish. On the other, you have a real, concrete financial plan. Because let's be honest, without a number, a dream is just, well, it's just a dream. So I want you to just pause and think about that for a second. Right now, in this moment, which side of that line are you on? Because making that switch from one side to the other, that is the single most important step you can possibly take. So let's dive right into this crucial first step. Section 1, dreaming versus planning. You know, this idea isn't exactly new. Thinkers like Napoleon Hill built entire philosophies around this one concept. A goal has to be specific. It has to be measurable. I want to be rich. That's just a wish. But I'm going to accumulate a specific amount of money by a specific date. Now that is a plan. Your retirement is exactly the same. It needs a number. So what is that number? This is where things start to get really, really interesting. Let's find out in Section 2, the real retirement number. All right, you might want to brace yourself for this one. Experts in India have crunched all the numbers. They've factored in inflation, healthcare, all the big stuff, to figure out what it actually takes to maintain a good quality of life after you stop working. And for a lot of people, this number is a serious wake-up call. There it is, 1.6 crores. That's 16 million rupees. Just let that sink in for a moment. For many millennials, this is the estimated amount needed for even a modest retirement. It's a huge, intimidating number, and frankly, it's why a lot of us would rather just daydream. But not today. Today, we're facing it head on. So, what does this massive number actually represent? I mean, we're not talking about a life of extreme luxury here. This is for a solid 20-year retirement, where your income is about 70 to 80% of what you earned before you retired. It covers a modest lifestyle in a city, and it already has those two giant factors, inflation and healthcare, baked right in. And hey, this isn't just one group's opinion. Other popular methods, like the FIRE movement, that's financial independence, retire early, they use a really simple formula. Just take your annual expenses and multiply by 25. And for a lot of people, that calculation lands them in a very similar ballpark. So this large number, it's a pretty realistic target. So why are we talking about all this right now? Because the biggest mistake people make is waiting. You know, they save a little here and there, and then in their 50s, they do the math for the very first time, and they discover this massive, terrifying gap. But by then, their most powerful tool, time, is no longer on their side. But that is not going to be you, because there is a way to bridge that enormous gap, and it's actually surprisingly simple. Let's get into Section 3 and see how we build it, the monthly SIP bridge. This slide right here illustrates the huge mindset shift that's required. On the left, that's what most of us do, right? We get our salary, pay our bills, spend some, and then save whatever's left over. The SMART plan, on the right, flips that whole thing on its head. You invest a specific, calculated amount first, like it's your most important bill. You pay your future self before anyone else. And the tool to do this is the SIP, the Systematic Investment Plan. It's exactly what it sounds like, a system. You invest a fixed amount automatically every single month. And it's this simple discipline that unleashes the absolutely incredible power of compounding over time. So here's the magic trick. This is where it all clicks. Instead of starting with what you can save today and just, hoping for the best, you start with a big goal. You start with that 1.6 crores or whatever your personal number is, and you work backwards to figure out what you need to do every month to get there. You literally reverse engineer your own success. And this is what that looks like in the real world. This table, this is what turns that intimidating, scary number into something tangible and honestly achievable. Just look at that top line. To get to 2 cores in 30 years, assuming a 12% return, you need a monthly SIP of around 10,000 rupees. A huge, scary goal just got broken down into a manageable monthly action. This is the bridge from daydreaming to planning. Okay, we've seen the problem and we've seen the solution. Now it's time to make this personal. And that brings us to our final and definitely our most important section. Find your own number. This is your mission right after you finish watching this. 4 simple steps. Pull up any online SIP calculator. Define your goal. Maybe it's more than 1.6 crores. Maybe it's a bit less. That's up to you. Then plug in the numbers and find your required monthly SIP. And then comes the moment of truth. Compare that number to what you're actually investing today. That's where you find your gap. So I'll leave you with this one thought. We started with a quote that separated the daydreamers from the planners. And what's the difference? It's a number, a specific monthly SIP number. The single most important thing you can do after this is to go and find yours. So, what's your number?